gone through thus far. And then we will move on to the new stuff.
Is it new hiragana?
Oh, well, the diacritical marks that we didn't get to yet and the combination ones that we didn't get to yet. Okay, there are no more actual completely new symbols until we get to katakana next chapter.
Cool.
Okay, so this is a, e, u, e, o, ka, ki, ku, ke. Oh, thank you. I didn't know what you were signaling. Sorry.
No worries. You got a lot on your plate. Like,
Yeah.
how does this work?
Okay, that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Is it a hook?
Sometimes it stays and sometimes it doesn't. So that's ke. Okay, ready? Ko,
Ko,
sa,
sa,
shi,
shi,
su, se, so, ta, chi, su, te, to, na, ni, nu, ne, no, ha, hi, hu, he, ho, ma, mi, mu, me, mo, ya, yu, yo, la, li, lu, le, lo, wa, wo, n. Okay, now ga, gi, gu, ge, go, za, ji, zu, ze, zo, da, ji, zu, de, do, ba, bi, bu, be, bo. I think that is as far as we've gotten, or did I just go one past what we finished? Yes, pa is next. Okay, so yeah, that was all we got through because the pa is next. So let's go ahead and run through them out of order and see what you know. Who? Right. He. Ma. Ne. Mo. To. E. Particle ed. Yes, this is the head that gets pronounced like ed, right? Ka. Ne. There you go. Ne. Se. Sa. Good. Right. Particle wa. Right. Ta. Right.
so,
Na. Right.
su,
Su. Right.
ro,
Lo.
no,
No.
ha,
Ah. Right.
you,
You.
n,
Right.
o,
La.
su,
Su. Right.
yo,
Yo.
re,
Le. Right.
u,
U. actually going to run through those once more on here so that we've also got it recorded. So that's pa, pi, pu, pe, po. So we've got the recording there. Okay, what's this one again? Pa,
pi, po, pu, pe, pi, po, pa.
All right. Let's scramble them a little bit and see how we do. Okay, so this one is he. Right.
Me,
All right.
to, e,
Right. Particle e. Right.
ne,
Ne. All right.
sa,
All right.
wa,
Right.
so,
Right.
su,
Right.
no,
Right.
a,
Right.
n,
Right.
ra,
La. Right.
yo,
Yo. Right.
u,
Right.
mu,
Mu. Right.
shi,
Right.
te,
Right.
ku,
Right.
wo,
Right.
ya,
Right.
mi,
Right.
he,
Right.
ni,
Right.
he,
He. Right. He.
pu,
Pu. Right.
pu,
Pu. Right.
ma,
Ma. Right.
mo,
Right.
ho,
Right.
e,
Right.
ka,
Right.
se,
Right.
ke,
All right.
ta,
Right.
na,
Right. Na.
That font messes it all up.
Right.
ro,
Ro. Right.
ha,
Right.
you,
Right.
o,
Right.
su,
Right.
re,
Right.
nu,
Right.
ri,
Right.
wa,
Right.
chi,
Right.
i,
Right.
ki,
Right.
ko,
Right.
o,
Right.
ru,
Right.
pi,
Right.
pa.
All right. Yes, now. Okay. Questions about any of them so far? Okay. Oh, for some reason, my Bobby Bubebo and Dad and Zols and Goals, all these were still in here. Had we not gone through these?
I don't think we went through the flashcards. I think we just went over.
Oh, we went through them on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add these in. Let's run through them again, and I'll add them into the random stacks so that they get mixed up when we keep practicing.
Ga, ki, gu, ge, go,
Okay, so this is out of order.
ba, bi, bu, be, bo.
The bas would not have come right after the gas normally, right? So remember, this is Japanese alphabetical order that we're going in when we do on the PowerPoint. So it's good to know them in that order, because if you ever need to use the glossary, for example, in the back of your book, that's the order. Okay, it actually goes as, and then the kas and gas, and then the tas and das, and or sas and zas first, and then tas das. So it goes a ka sas, a ta da na ha ma ya ra wa n. That's the order across. If you're just doing the row. If you're doing the columns, it goes a, I, U, E, O, then ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, and it intersperses, so it's like all the kas and then the gas, and then the keys and then the gis, and then the kus and then the gus, like that. Okay, so that's
Da.
da.
D. G.
G, yes, it's that weird one, remember we talked about
Is
that?
that, there's two G's. Is that the one we usually use or not?
This is the unusual one,
Okay.
the rarely ever used one,
Gotcha.
G.
Zoo.
Zoo, same deal. It's the hardly ever used zoo. The other zoo is the normal zoo.
Gotcha. De.
De and
Do.
do. And here comes za, ji, zu, ze, zo. And this zoo and this G are the normal ones, the ones that you see used 99% of the time. Okay, G and zoo spelled this way. Okay, so before we do another round of random stuff, we're going to look at combinations. So everybody knows what this is by itself? Key. Everybody knows what this is by itself?
Ya.
The key to know for these is all of these combinations, every last one of them, takes a consonant plus a ya, you, or yo, okay? The consonant sound combines with the ya, you, or yo sound. Which consonants they choose, it's always the ones from the E group, okay? So ki and gi and she and ji and so on and so forth, chi and all of those. An easy way to think about it is, what's the closest vowel sound to a Y? The E sound, right? Ya, ya. Can you hear that? So if you're combining a consonant plus some vowel in order to get a kya, q, kyo kind of sound, it makes sense to use the ones that end in the E, because that's the most natural
You're essentially
flow.
saying it already.
Yeah, exactly. And notice the size difference. Can you tell that there's a size difference? I know it's not as extreme as it would be if it were up to me, but there is a size difference, right? The ki is clearly taller and the ya is clearly a little smaller, right? That's how you do all the combinations. If you want the sound ki, ya, write them both full size. If you want the sound kya, write the ya smaller, okay? Most of the time in handwritten form at least, the ya ends up being about half the size of the ki and a tad lower also. If you're writing horizontally, Western style, it tends to dip a little bit below the blue line on your notebook paper. If you're writing vertically, which would be traditional Japanese style, it tends to go off to the right a little bit. Okay? Any questions about that? Okay, so we're going to read through some combinations and then we're going to do some random mixes also. Okay, so here is kya, kyu, kyo. Okay, you've probably heard of Kyoto. This is the first part. Okay, gya, gyu, gyo. See how those work? There's a logic there, right? Okay, this is not the craziest, most illogical part of the language, for sure. This makes some sense, right?
It's all kind of made sense. Like,
Yeah.
very-
So this is
Kya,
kya,
Q,
kyu,
Kyo,
kyo,
Yeah.
kya,
Q,
kyu, gyo. Let's do a little bit more.
Q,
Kyu, good.
Kya,
Yu, ya, yep.
Q,
Gyo. Okay, and this is yu. And this is
Kya,
kya. And this is kyo. Okay. So examples of that in real life are place names like Tokyo and Kyoto. Those are place names that use that. Sometimes if you watch a samurai movie, you might hear, kya, or those kinds of sound effects. If you read manga, you might find those kinds of sound effects. They tend to, when they're onomatopoeia, they tend to be written in katakana. So when we get into katakana, that'll be even more interesting because I've had lots of students come back to me and say, hey, I was looking at my manga again. I never noticed before, but inside the graphics, there's all this katakana onomatopoeia stuff. And until you can read katakana, you just don't even notice it. Okay, so, ne, particle e, right?
Kyo.
Kyo, all right. Sa,
So.
so,
Gyu.
gyu, yep.
No.
No,
Mm. Yo.
yo, yep.
Mu.
Mu,
Te.
te,
Wo.
wo, right?
Mi.
Ni, ni,
Hu.
pu, right?
Ma.
Ma,
Po.
po, right?
Ka.
Ka,
Ke.
ke,
Na.
na,
Ha.
ha, right?
O.
O, right?
Be.
De, right?
Li.
Li, right?
Chi.
Chi, right?
Ki.
Ki, right?
Ho.
Ho, right?
Pi.
Pi.
Pi, right?
Gi.
Li, right?
Ge.
Ge, right?
Ga.
Ga.
Ba.
Ba, there you go, that's ba. Ha, ba.
Bo.
Bu.
Boo, this is boo. Remember, 10-10 on the H's becomes B, right? So, boo.
Bo.
Bo. 2 lines on top instead of 1, so that's bo, not ba.
G.
G, the weird G, not the common G, right?
De.
De,
G.
the normal G.
Z.
Z.
Q.
Q, yeah, like the letter in English, Q.
He.
He,
To.
to, right?
Ne.
Ne, right?
Wa.
Right?
Su.
Su, yep.
A.
La,
La.
la, right?
Lu.
Lu,
She.
she, right?
Ku.
Ku,
Ya.
la,
He.
He.
He. Fu.
right?
Mo.
Right?
E.
Right?
Se.
Right?
Ta.
Right?
Ro.
Right?
You. Su.
Right?
Nu.
Right?
Wa.
Right?
E.
Right?
Ho.
Right?
Bu.
Right?
Kya.
Right?
Pa.
Right?
Ga.
Ga, right?
Gu.
Right?
Go.
Go, right? Gyo, yes, gyo.
B.
B, right?
Be.
De, right? Da,
Da.
right? Zoo, the weird zoo.
Do.
Do, right?
Da.
Za, this is za, from sa to za. Okay, and then zoo, the common zoo.
So.
So, and
Gya.
yeah. All right. Okay, let's do a few more combos. So we have sha. Notice that it's often can be spelled S-H-A. You don't need the Y in there necessarily because there's no other way to get the sha sound in Japanese. This is it. Because all the other S's are S, not S-H, right? So sha, shoe, like on your foot, and show, like a movie, show. You know, those 3 can really be spelled just phonetically. S-H-A, S-H-U, and S-H-O would be the normal Romaji spellings. And if you're typing, you can spell it that way and it'll give it to you that way. You can write S-H-Y-A or even S-Y-A and also get sha. if you're typing in Word in Japanese. Sha. Okay, and then, so that's sha, shu, sho. And this is ja, ju, and jo. Okay. Any questions about those? Do you want to do another repeat for practice, or are you ready to add a few more before we do the repeat for practice? A few more? Okay, let's add the cheese. So, cha, you may have heard of ocha, tea, cha.
So that's another one where it's not, there's no really Y.
Right, you don't necessarily have to write C-H-Y-A. You could just write C-H-A and it works just fine because there are no other CHs in the language other than chi and cha, chu, cho.
So it's,
Right, just like she and sha, shu, sho are the only SH sounds.
it's pronounced cha, not
Cha.
cha.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter?
cha.
Cool.
Yeah, cha.
Chu.
Chu and
Cho.
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 Yeah, so same deal, right? Okay. Let's do, there's only a few more left. Should we just run through the rest of them?
Let's do it.
Okay, let me go ahead and do them this way so that this is caught up. So this is gyo, right? So read these with me. Sha, shu, sho, ja, ju, jo, cha, chu, cho. This is a weird one. We don't have this in English. Nya,
Yeah.
nya, nya. It's more nasal than we're used to. Okay, nya. Yes, this is onomatopoeia for a cat's meow in Japanese. Nya, nya. Okay. New, which is how they take new from English for words like New York, city, or state, New York, New Jersey. Okay, so that's new.
New.
Nyo, nyo, which I'm trying to think of a good example. Munyo munyo is like something sticky, gooey. Onomatopoeia. There are some weird ones in Japanese. They're fun. So nya, nyu, nyo. Moving on. Hya,
Yeah.
Yeah.
hyu,
You.
hyo.
Yo.
Okay, so hya kind of sounds like you're cracking a whip or something.
Yeah.
Hugh is like the name Hugh, right?
Hugh.
And hyo. Okay, moving on. Bia. Yes, it really is bia.
Yeah.
Bia. Bu.
You.
Bio.
Yo.
And pia.
Yeah.
Pew. Pyo.
Yo.
Yes.
Pew. Yo.
Pia, pew, pyo. And then mia. Mu. Myo. And the hardest ones to pronounce. Lia.
Yeah.
Liu. Liu.
Yo.
Don't swallow your tongue.
Yo.
And that is it. There's your particle wa, there's your particle e, and here's groups. So when you go to your canvas, if you want to make flashcards from these, if you're having a hard time with some of these fonts, for example, and you want to use this font and also write in the more handwritten style so that you've got both juxtaposed. If you want to print off these pages, or I think I've got even smaller ones, maybe. Yeah, if you wanted to print off these pages to save yourself some paper, you could print these out, cut them up, and you've got instant flashcards. Okay, so that's there if you need it. And now let's run through them again and then mix them all up, and then we're going to really mix them up by putting them together in words. Okay, so we're getting close to vocabulary, yay! So this is
Yeah.
ya,
You.
mu, this is all the hiragana in the entire language.
That's it.
Yay! So you can now sound out and read what kindergartners can read. Okay?
You,
So, Hugh,
ma,
ma,
ka,
Na.
ma,
o,
ri,
ki,
pi, right?
ze,
Get, yeah, that's get. Ke, get. Bu, right?
ji,
G, the less common G, right?
ji,
G, the common G.
Q,
Q,
to,
to,
Wa.
right?
a,
Right,
u,
right,
ku,
right,
e,
right,
hu,
right,
e, ta,
right,
u,
right,
nu,
right. I'm just gonna put some of them down for ease of holding.
yi,
Right,
ru,
right.
Pa.
Pa, right. Only one cross piece, not the top one. So that's pa.
gu,
Gu,
yo,
Yo.
yo.
Be.
Be, right.
zu,
Zu, right.
za,
Za, right.
zo, shu,
Shu, shu,
shu,
right.
ja,
Ja,
Ja.
ja, ja, which is an expression like well then. Ja, Joe, like my friend Joe. Chew, which is onomatopoeia for a kiss. Chew. New, new, like New York. Kya,
Ya.
kya.
Ya.
Bia,
Pia.
kya. I happen to be together. Myo, which means strange. Interestingly enough, myo, myo. Lia,
Ya.
Yo.
Bio. Bio.
Pew.
Pew,
mu,
mu, right? View, view. Yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, view, view are kind of hard to pronounce. Me, right? Kyo, right? So, no, yo,
te,
te,
mi,
me, who,
ho,
ho,
ke,
ke, right? Ha,
fe,
le,
chi,
chi,
ho,
ho,
yi,
Ba.
ba, there you go.
bo,
Bo, alright. De, ze, hi, ne, su, la, shi, and a few more.
ya,
Ya,
he,
he,
mo,
mo, se, go, su,
wa,
wa,
ko, kia,
kya,
ga,
ba,
go,
go,
gi,
B,
mi,
B, 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 like the letter B.
Da.
Da,
do,
do,
zu,
zu,
Ya.
ya, right?
sha,
Sha, right?
sho,
Sho, Ju, right?
cha,
Cha,
Cha.
cha, this one's cha.
cho,
Cho, Nya.
Ya.
Nya, nya.
yo,
Nyo, hyo,
yo,
Yo.
bu,
Bu.
bu,
Bu.
pyo,
pyo, right? doing?
Good.
Getting comfortable with it? Getting there? Okay. Any questions about anything? Okay. Those here. And dig up next set of flashcards. So let's see. Oops. Okay, so what I did here was I took the vocabulary from lesson 1 and the greeting section, and I divided it up by how long or short the words were. And then I just added in a few that aren't part of this chapter just because if I didn't, there were a couple of hiragana that weren't going to get used at all. So I just added a few like shinu just for the new. Okay?
Is new just not used often?
It's just not as commonly used as some of the others. I don't know why. It's just, that's the way it is. So, actually, I'm going to do this, but I'm also going to open up the next PowerPoint. So, if I go in here, I should be able to find, let's see.
It's in the schedule for what we, should have done between last class and
Yeah.
today was make vocabulary flashcards.
Yes.
Was it just the greetings that we should have been doing?
That's a good start, but lesson 1 also, if possible. So if you haven't done them yet, go ahead and do them.
Lesson 1 as
Lesson
well.
1 as well, yes. So, and what we're doing now, we're actually combining some of each, starting with the short ones, which are all in lesson 1 because the greetings are all fairly long expressions
They are.
for the most part. So we're actually, for the sake of reading practice, we're starting with short ones. Okay, we've been doing single syllable hiragana individuals. Now we're going to do a few pairs and then 3 kana words and then 4 kana words and then get into the longer ones.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to kind of build our foundation nice and gradually. So this is shinu, which is not a vocabulary word, so don't worry about it. It means to die if you're curious.
It's a good start.
Okay, what a start, right?
Ima.
Ima is now, yes. That, I think, is one of your vocabulary words. Okay. None means what, and it is also a vocabulary word.
No.
Ano means yes, it's a vocabulary word. Means yes. It's also a vocabulary word. Hai also means yes. 2 different words for yes that are very commonly used.
Sun.
Sun, it's a couple meanings. The number 3, and it's also the suffix that you put on the ends of people's names to be polite. Okay, so it's sometimes equated to Mr. or Ms., but it can be added onto first or last names, depending on how well you know the person or what you normally call them by. So, and it can also be added onto like job title type things to be polite to the person whose job it is. So that's a few different meanings for san. Hachi,
Hachi.
which means 8, yes. Roku, which means 6. Yeah, roku is 6.
No.
Nomu is another one I just added in. It's a much later vocabulary word. It means to drink. But it uses mu, and mu is not very commonly used either. So nu and mu I just had to find ways to work in.
Why are the ones that are easy to remember the ones that aren't used as much?
I don't know. Nomu.
So are the ones that you're showing us that aren't in the lesson, now is this just
This is
for
reading
funsies?
practice.
Okay.
This is for reading practice. I'm not going to test you on the meanings of nomu or shinu, but I do want you to be able to sound it out.
Gotcha.
And if we don't practice mu and nu in context, how are you going to learn them?
You don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly.
Nugu.
Nugu. That's another example of using nu in context. Nugu is the verb to take off, as in shoes or socks. So, yomu
Yomu.
is, again, for the sake of the mu practice, yomu is to read. And again, yomu and nomu both actually occur in, I think it's lesson 3 or 4. Nugu and shinu actually occur much later. They're not even first semester words, but they're good reading practice. Goji,
Goji.
not the berry. This is 5 o'clock. Okay, go means 5, and ji means o'clock, literally. So it's goji, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Go go.
Go.
Yeah, not the dance or the boots. Go actually means PM. It's literally, if you put the kanji for these, it's noon after. Okay.
So what you tell me is they go dance to a piano in the afternoon.
Okay. At 5 in the afternoon. Go. Goji go. Goji actually means 5 p.m. They actually put the p.m. or the a.m. before the time. So 5 p.m. is literally goji. I know, sounds crazy, right? Nani is another word for what? Nan and nani are synonyms, but which one you use is based on what word comes after it. So it's more pronunciation based. What word follows? Nani and nanji. Nani and nan. Kuji is 9 o'clock. Ku is one of the ways to pronounce the number 9. There are a number of the digits, the numbers, that have more than one pronunciation to them. And which one you pick is, again, dependent on what follows. Okay? Japanese has a lot of those, where there's a pronunciation shift that happens if such and such comes after.
Kind of like ah and an
Yeah,
in English
yeah,
to blend it together better.
yeah. So that's kuji, 9 o'clock. Han means half, as in half past. So
Goji Han would be 5:30.
Goji Han would be 5:30, Kuji Han, 9:30. Okay, so Han goes after the Ji for the times. Ichi, 1. Yon, one of the pronunciations for 4. The other is she, single character, so Yon is the other one. Nana
No.
is one of the pronunciations for 7. The other being shichi. This one is yoji. Yo from yon, it drops the n for some reason, and yoji is 4 o'clock. Interesting, isn't it? Ko. So what you're doing here is ko, but when you run it all together, the o and the u sound tend to sort of blend into one another. So it sounds like ko. You hear it? Ko. One of the things I don't like about lesson 1 and 2 is the fact that their spellings for Romaji are more phonetic instead of literally transliterating what this is spelled like. So I find the Romaji annoying. So I avoid it. And that's one of the reasons I started teaching this first before we even get into the lesson 1 content in your chapter, or even the greetings content in your chapter, because those, what I consider to be misspellings in Romaji, confuse people and often teach them to spell it wrong because they're looking at the Romaji and not looking at the Hiragana at first. So this is how you spell high school, ho. Do not be deceived by the fact that they spell it K-O-O in the Romaji in this textbook. It should be spelled K-O-U, K-O-U, to be more accurate to how it's actually spelled in Japanese, koko. And the vast majority of what they call long O sounds, where it goes O instead of O, the vast majority of them are spelled O-U. Okay, this is the norm. Spelling this with an O here would be unusual. There are only a few words, like literally half a dozen or less, that spell O-O instead of O-U. Okay, so this is the normal spelling that you're mostly going to deal with until we get to later vocabulary words, which I'll point out when they come up, mostly next semester and onwards, not even very many this term. Okay, so that's koko, high school. Ie is no. Please note the e, that's very important because this ie is a house. So the difference of one letter, even if it's the same letter repeated, can make a huge difference in the meaning. Okay? Same thing's true with koko. If you leave out the two u's and you just spell or pronounce koko, that means here. Koko is definitely not koko, right? We're not in high school. Right?
Whenever I went to Japan and I would say it too quickly, they would look at me like,
What? Yeah, like why are you randomly saying house when we ask you a question? Yeah. Big problem. If you, then try answering house the next time somebody asks you, do you want anything to drink?
house.
Yeah.
like a doctor?
What? Ie.
Yeah.
Okay. Niji.
2
2:00. Ni means 2. So niji, 2:00. Niji. So again, ichi, ni. Ni is 2. And notice that it's also got 2 parallel lines. And you take this away and you make these a lot straighter, and you've got both the katakana ni and the kanji for the number 2. Hachiji is 8:00. Right. Eigo is English language. Yes, the A part is actually from a kanji that is used sometimes to represent England, and the go means language. Not the same kanji as 5 or PM or any of those others that are homophones. Okay, but notice the spelling eigo. Again, the pronunciation of this ei and the pronunciation of the that means yes are very similar. It's hard to really hear any difference between the two, but the spelling is very important. Is yes, ei is the first part of eigo. Okay, so again, the Romaji in the textbook spells this with E-E-G-O. I do not like that spelling because it's deceptive. It makes you think that this E should be an E, and it's not. So be very careful of that, and if at all possible, look at the Hiragana and not the Romaji, especially for those words. But if you can refrain from reading the Romaji at all and just read the Hiragana, that would be better. Eigo. Denwa. Telephone. Denwa. Ni. Sai. Nisai. 2 years old. Sai is the suffix that they use for years of age. So you take any number and put sai on the end, and it means that the person is that many years of age. Okay? You don't use just the digit without sai to talk about age. It's very confusing to Japanese people. If you ask them, if they ask you how old are you and you say 16, they're like, huh? 16 sai makes more sense. So nisai, 2 years old. Kaiwa. means a conversation or a dialogue. And every chapter in your book, except for the greetings chapter, which is like a mini chapter, but every other lesson in your book starts with a kaiwa, a dialogue section. So since it's there in every chapter, I included the headers, even though kaiwa I don't think is on your official vocab list. I included the headings that are used in every lesson in this vocab pack so that you can learn when they say kaiwa on your CD, that's what they're saying, dialogue. Okay? Shichiji is 7 o'clock. Shichi is the other reading for the number 7, and it's the standard one with G. Nobody says nanaji. I don't know why, they just don't. So it's always shichiji, even though that does seem like you're gonna accidentally bite your tongue or something. Shichiji. Okay. Is what time? Sun is 3, so 3 o'clock, sanji.
Gozen.
Right. Gozen is the opposite of gogo. Remember gogo was PM, so gozen is AM. Yeah, it's literally noon before. Okay, if you were looking at the kanji. So
Hyaku.
that's the small ya, so it's
Hyaku.
hyaku,
Hyaku.
hyaku, hyaku. Make sure that the hya is only one syllable, not two.
Hya.
Hya, exactly. Hyaku, hyaku. Okay, hyaku means 100. Okay, and getting to 100 is actually very easy in Japanese because once you memorize the numbers 1 through 10, everything else flows very logically from there. Place value is embedded in this language. So 11 is actually 10-1. 12 is 10-2. 25 is 2 10s 5. Okay, so it's really cool. And so you can get all the way up to 99 just knowing your numbers 1 through 10. And then hyaku is the first new word you need after 10. Hyaku, 100. Rokuji. Rokuji is 6 o'clock, yes. Rokuji. Rokuji. Ju, yes, Ju, which means 10. Ju. Okay, so Ju is 10. So, like I said, 10, 2 would be 12, so Ju ni, that's 12. Now, Ju san would be 13, Ju yon would be 14, and on and on and on, just like that. Very easy to count in Japanese once you know the numbers 1 through 10. Ichiji, 1 o'clock, exactly. Tango is not a dance from Argentina, it's vocabulary. Tango. So that literally means vocabulary words. This goal is the same goal that's in eigo language. Okay, so it's like conversation language or something if you break down the kanji. Tango. Suji means numbers, digits, mathematical symbols. Suji. Q is not just a fun thing to say or a letter in English, it's also the number 9. Q. So ku when it's part of the time 9 o'clock, kuji, but Q most of the time. Okay, there are a few places where it changes to ku, but 99% of the time it's Q. Watashi, I, me, watashi. One of the pronouns in Japanese that gets used more often than most. Pronouns in general in Japanese don't get used all that often. Hai, nihon.
Japan.
Yes, Japan. Nihon is Japan. Not to be confused with two of something, which is a homophone for Nihon. Hon, in that context, is like a counting word, a measure word for long skinny things. So Nihon could mean like two of something that are long and skinny, but it's also Japan. Yeah, namae means name. Namae even sounds a little bit like name, right? Namae. 50. If go is 5 and ju is 10,
50.
exactly, 50. You got the concept. See? Goju is 50. Easy, right? I love the way numbers in Japanese work. It's a cool concept. Tadaima. Tadaima. Anyone know what that one is? I'm home. Yep.
Sensei.
Sensei. Hi. Yes. Sensei. Notice again the spelling, sensei, but when you pronounce it, sensei, the A kind of run together and it's more of an E sound than an E sound. Sensei. Okay? But again, the spelling in the Romaji in the textbook is annoying, so ignore it. Read this. Sensei. Okay? Nensei. Rhymes, but different meaning. Nen meaning year, and sei meaning student. So the year student that you are, like what year in school. So daigaku is college. Daigaku ichinensei would be college first year student, so freshman in college. So nensei is really a suffix. It requires a number with it to make any sense. Nensei by itself doesn't work as a standalone. Bango are numbers in the sense of like a house number or a telephone number. Okay, so suji are mathematical numbers, but bango is like a string of numbers that has a meaning such as a phone number. So, and we had the word phone before. Does anyone remember? Denwa. So denwa bango is literally telephone number. So now you can ask somebody, denwa bango wa nan desu ka? What's your phone number? Okay, so bango. You didn't know you were going to learn Japanese pickup lines, did you? Daigaku. It's literally great studies. Can you guess? College. Yep, daigaku is college or university. Daigaku. Gakusei, student. So this sei is actually the same kanji on both sensei and gakusei. It's literally, as a standalone, it's the kanji for to be born, but in this case, it's like the birth of studies. But it really means student. It's not to be taken that literally. Gakusei is student. Hi, ohayo. Good morning, and it's the casual version, ohayo. So like friends would say ohayo, ohayo. You know, if you're greeting somebody who's older than you or somebody who you don't know that well, you would use the formal form, which is ohayo gozaimasu. Yeah, you put the gozaimasu suffix to make it more polite. We'll get to that one when we get to the long ones. Hi, okaeri. Anyone remember? Okaeri nasai is the other version. Welcome back, yes. It's like welcome home. Hi.
What's the nasai part?
Nasai is,
It's not like 2 or 3.
it's a common, like, gentle command ending, basically. And it makes phrases like this more polite. Okaeri is like, welcome home, and okaeri nasai is more like polite welcome home. Okay, so it depends on how formal your host family is, for example. If you're living with a Japanese family, you say tadaima and your little host sister who's a few years younger than you might say okaeri, and your host parents might say okaeri nasai because they're being a little more formal. Just as an example.
Okay.
Okay. Okaeri. Ju-ni. So if you remember, ju is 10 and ni is 2, so ju-ni is 12. And if you add a ji on the end, ju-ni-ji would be 12 o'clock. Right? Hi, ni-ji-han. Anybody? Ni-ji-han.
2:30.
Yep, Ni-ji-han, 2:30. Yes. Oh, I just noticed that clock is totally dead, so I don't know what time it really is.
Yeah, the projector head.
Oh, the projector has time. Okay, that's nice. Okay. Okay.
It's
So
not dead, it's just not ticking.
it's stuck.
Yeah, it's stuck.
I don't know if I didn't put the battery in right or if.
Seems like it's
That
a,
might,
it's a
that might
problem
be,
clock.
yeah, it might be the clock itself.
Okay. Anyway, so this
Every time they
is
tick it.
So just,
so des,
So that's
which means
so.
that is so. Yes, so des. It kind of sounds like it would mean that because of the so part, sounding like the English word so. So that is so, or that is true, or I see sometimes, depending on the context, it's got a lot of different possible meanings.
So this now would be like.
So desu
isn't it?
ne is,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I see what you mean, or I agree with you, or, so desu ka could be really. So there are a bunch of different permutations of so desu. But you learn them as you go, and,
Hold something like.
yeah. Okay, senko.
Senko.
Senko, anybody? Major, as in your college major, senko.
yeah, I remember reading that.
Yeah, so senko wa nan desu ka? Is asking what's your major? Okay. Tomodachi, friend. Hi, tomodachi. Hi, Nihongo, Japanese language. Remember, Nihon was Japan, Go is language. Pretty much any country name where that country is the main speaker of the language, just add Go and you've got the name for that language. So, Spaingo,
Diego.
Spanish, Fransugo, French. Guess what? Deutschugo,
German.
German. There you go.
Nihongo.
Nihongo.
Nihongo squishy.
はい、いいですね。はい。10時。はい、10時。10 is 10. Ji is the clock, right? O'clock. So 10時, 10 o'clock. 10時. 10時. 20. 20. So 12 was 12, so 20 would be 20. Yeah, 20. 2 tens. Yeah, think about it like 2 tens. 20.
2 tens, or 10
Yeah.
plus 2.
Right, or 10 plus 2.
Got it.
Yeah, see the difference? Right, and then of course, 22 would be 22. Isn't that cool how that works? Okay, oyasumi. Good night. Yeah, and oyasumi nasai is the politer form of oyasumi. Okay, so oyasumi is casual. Good night.
Yes,
Oyasumi. Okay.
Jugo.
Jugo.
Ju.
Right. Anybody? 15. Yeah. Jugo. Okay. Hi. Aisatsu is a header in your greetings chapter, your greetings section, because aisatsu means greetings. So that's the greetings header. Again, it wasn't officially part of your tango, but I figured why not, right? Aisatsu. It's good reading practice, and it's good just to know when you hear aisatsu what they're talking about. Right. Whoa. Okay. Hachiju is はい、
Ju is-
80, 80.
10, right?
8 was
Hachi.
8. Ju is 10, so 80, 80. Yeah, the logic still works.
Sanju.
Sanju.
50.
50.
San is
30.
30. There you go. Sanju.
Double numbers.
30.
One and a half.
はい。60. 60. 60. 60. はい。Ichijihan. Ichijihan, 130. There you go. Ichijihan. Yes, Nihonjin, Japanese person. Jin means person. You put Jin, America Jin, Furansu Jin, はい、アメリカ人です。カナダ人です。ドイツ人です。イギリス人です。So you put Jin on the end of any nationality
It makes it
word, a
person.
country word, it means a person of that nationality, a person from that country. So any country you can think of. Hi. I forgot she was coming today. She's going to tell us about language lab hours. I forgot you were coming today, but
I knew you were going to begin.
yeah, I always forget this part.
Hello guys,
Okay.
my name is Alenka Horniman. I'm from the Language Lab, which is in Building 1, Room 208. And I am here to register you so you can use the Language Lab. And that is due to the fact that you are signed up for a 4-credit language course. One of the credits goes directly to some type of work that you will be doing at the Language Lab, so outside of the classroom. And the total of those hours are 16. It's a requirement, 16-hour requirement. It's not something that we require here. It's a state requirement for anyone who takes a language that's a 4-credit. Just to make sure that you know you put in that extra time doing so. And I have time cards, so when you come to the Language Lab, we will track your time through these, okay? You will have to sign in electronically if we have our system working. You sign in, you sign out, and I will give the cards to you. You will have to fill out your name on top. Everything else is filled out. When I turn this around, I'll give you 30 minutes today just for attending an orientation. So that way you'll practice what you have to do with those cards when you come to the Language Lab. So we're in Building 1 on 2nd floor, 208. That's where we're located. I can't believe you're always here. You
Yeah.
know, like, and we're over there.
Yeah.
So they don't even, does anyone know? where
Has anyone been to the
Lab is?
Language Lab yet?
No.
Okay.
So Building 1, right next to you, right? M1, 2nd floor, 208. Okay?
Yeah, if
We
you
have
go
plenty
out,
of Japanese students there right now.
okay, yeah, if you
Sitting
go out
right there.
these glass doors here on to the breezeway, just go to this, not the first set of glass doors, but the second set. So the second entrance to Building 1 from here, and go down that hallway, you'll find it on your right-hand side. It's not that hard to find it from here.
So the formality behind the registration is that what I said before, so 16-hour requirement, the extra credit, and that has a deadline. So, am I spelling that right? By April, which is a Thursday, April 28th, you will need to have 16 hours, okay?
If you had done an hour last week, and if you did 1 hour every week, you would meet the requirement. But it's probably safer to double up and do an hour and a half or 2 hours a week at the beginning of the semester, so that if things get really hectic toward the end of the semester and you don't have time to get there, you've already got your 16 hours out of the way and you're not stressing about it. Okay.
So what is it we're doing at the Language Lab exactly?
You
Good
can
question.
do your listening practice on your CDs.
Oh, so
If
there's
you've
no-
got like a headset,
Oh, so there's no like specific project we have to do there?
You
It's
can.
just working on
it's
Yeah.
whatever you're studying for this class.
Okay.
It has to be for this class, but it could be your homework, it could be your writing practice, it could be your reading practice, it could be your listening practice, it could be just general studying for a test, it could even be collaborating with some classmates and studying together, as long as your volume doesn't get way out of control.
That's how the language lab is set up. We have group sessions. So we have 3 bigger group sessions. The Japanese group session is right by the board. Guess why?
So they can practice writing their
We
characters.
do a lot of writing, okay? And they sit right there. It's like the biggest, actually, the biggest table. And right now it's filled because this is the time that Japanese 2 get together, 2 classes, and 3 and 4.
Yeah,
Okay, they all
a
work
bunch of them
together.
like to work
So
together.
there's a lot of group studies going on. They
Yeah.
meet up there, they help each other, and if you do need any type of help, even tutoring, we have 2 people that are assigned to help this semester.
Yeah.
There is Kenneth. Kenneth is there. Kenneth would be good for these guys, right?
Yeah, he can help these guys.
So
'cause he's
Kenneth
in
is
level
there
2.
Tuesdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays between 1 and 3 p.m.
Okay.
Okay?
And it says Ellie's gonna be there from 2 to 4 on
And
Tuesdays
then
and
Ellie,
Thursdays?
yeah, same days, Tuesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
and she will be there from 2 to 4.
Okay, so you'll miss the second part of her time there, but you could be there for the first part if you wanted help with Ellie. And
Well, the
she's-
good thing about both of them is
Yeah.
if you go there, you meet up with them, and you tell them, hey, I need help with this or that, can we meet another time?
Yeah, that's
Are
the
you
other thing.
available?
If they're
And then, you know,
available,
you
they
set-
might
you
meet
set
with
an
you
appointment with
some
her or
other
him,
times too.
and they do come to the lab, they hang out there, they're there a lot.
Yeah,
So they are going to
Yeah.
appreciate if you need help.
yeah,
Okay.
Ellie probably gets her 16 hours in the first month of the semester.
Yes.
Because she's in there a lot.
So now today, you're going to practice how you fill out that time card. When you come to the language lab, first you have to electronically sign in, there's like a sign-in system. Second step is go up to the middle section where the student assistants are sitting. I have 3 student assistants. Ask for your card, okay? When you get your card, you're gonna fill out 3 things. The date, your time in, and when you're done, you're gonna fill out your timeout. So today I'm giving you 30 minutes, so let's practice. Today's date is 1/19, so fill that in there. The time I got here was like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4, you're right, 4, that's your sign-in time. You're allowed to round up and round down. We don't want to see like 4:02 or 4:03, because, you know, student assistant, they have to add your time. They don't want to deal with those numbers, so either bump it up or bump it down. When you come in, typically you want to lower it, right? You want to get the most out of it. When you're leaving, if you're leaving 5:32, you just write 5:35, so bump it up then. So today, 4:40, we started sign-in time. When you leave, you're going to put in, or when I leave, or you can do it now because you're practicing, 4:30. And now you have 30 minutes.
So she's giving you 30 minutes just for listening to
Yeah, it's a
her
little reward. A little-
orientation thing here.
Okay?
15 Thursday, good.
Yeah.
All right, and that card is not yours. You ask for it. It's in a tray while you're there. When you're done, you return the card, or you leave it there in the tray. The student assistant pick it up and they put it in that little time card box.
So
You don't want to walk around with it because if you lose it, the time is lost. The activity tracker that we use the sign-in system for, what I mentioned, when you come in, you do electronic sign-in, that's only for activity. That's not even reliable. It just like freezes up on us in the middle of
Oh.
everything.
So this is the one that
so
really
this
makes sure
is-
you get your
this is
credit.
the actual, yeah, you can't hold on to it, just use it, fill in your time, sign in and sign out, and that's it. Okay, any questions so far? 16-hour requirement, time tracking, that's it. Our hours, when we're open, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., just like the library, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Okay, you can come in anytime. Fridays you can even use, but not our lab, you can use the library. And you can, there's like a specific, there's a clipboard like this at the library. When you come in the main reception desk, there's a clipboard and it has a yellow sign-in sheet. Manual it has to be. It says the language lab sign-in sheet. If you go to the library on Fridays, you want to do your hours there, want to work on Japanese, you have to manually sign in and sign out. There's no, you can't use the computer. It has to be this manual clipboard, this, okay? Sign in, sign sign out, we take that time and we transfer it onto your time cards. Typically do it like once a week. So you're allowed to use the library. Yes,
What about other campuses? Like,
very good question. Yes, you can go to any other campus, but it is your responsibility to let us know. Are you planning already to go somewhere else? Write that at the bottom of your card. So we know, a hint, if I look at your card at the end of the semester, I see only 4 hours. Oh, this is not good. So where could the other hours be? If it says Cocoa, then, maybe I can look into Cocoa. Or where are you planning on going, for
I
instance?
was actually Titusville campus.
Okay, so you get some type of printout, or you give me a name or something so we can verify that you have put in time there.
Put
Any
Titusville down on the
campus.
bottom.
Right,
Just at
another
the very
campus.
bottom where there's a space.
You don't know
write
which campus,
Titusville.
just write another campus.
There's a learning lab in Titusville? Or
Yeah,
a language lab in
there's some-
Titusville?
What do they
Not
have?
really. They have like, what do they have, like a
There's a
learning
learning
lab?
lab?
Learning lab and combination of
And
something?
do I like sign in at the learning lab and say?
They
hey,
should have some kind of a sign-in system for language students. Go ask, like at the front desk, the head person or whatever, ask them where you do language lab hours. And tell them you're taking a language class at a different campus, where do you do your language lab hours? Okay, and they'll make sure you get to the right.
That's so complicated, Titus, I really
Yeah.
don't know. Cocoa is like above the library, and it's a combination of all the other learning labs, math lab. They have a little corner there, it looks like kindergarten, that's for languages. So you
Yeah,
have to sign
and
in
Palm Bay
there.
has their own system, every campus
Palm
has
Bay's
their
great,
own system.
Palm Bay's great. You
Yeah.
sign in electronically, there's a printout, you print it out, you bring it in. And I can even pull that if you give me your B number, which I'm not allowed to ask for. So, it's much better if you bring me the printout, and then we'll just, transfer the time onto your time card.
Yeah.
Okay?
So-
So it can be a little complicated, it's real easy if you're here, because
But
we have a
is there
really
anybody
great
else who
system.
needs to use a different campus for their lab hours? Okay.
Okay, good. Now, the other part of the registration, to get you registered to use the language lab, this is not, it's a restricted use, okay? It's not for anybody else except for language learning students. So, I want you to read through the lab agreement form. Therefore, there's a form, expectations, and guidelines that we set forth while you were there. And everyone needs to read through lab agreement form. While you're reading through the different sections, I'll go over it. I went over half of it already. While you're going over it, initial it if you are in agreement. If you're not in agreement, okay, then you have to either ask questions or you have to be aware of it. But there are guidelines, because it's a really small place, and we have quite a few languages that we offer. We have the most languages that we offer of all the campuses.
Yeah, nobody else has Japanese on campus. I'm the only Japanese instructor in the county at the college level.
See? That should speak for itself. 5 French classes we have. Normally they have 1 or 2, like,
The only Japanese.
if they have
I'm
any
the only
French
Japanese
at
instructor
all.
in Brevard County right now for the
It's
college
German
level.
here. Not to mention American Sign Language,
Sign that
and
too.
8
Yeah.
Spanish classes.
Yeah, 8 Spanish classes,
So many
wow.
students.
Yeah, so it can get crowded in there. That's another reason to make sure you get your your lab hours sooner rather than later, because if it's standing room only, they will shut the door and not let anyone else in.
I also got that one.
I like this Japanese, it's more intimate setting that way.
Yeah.
Are you got the wrong one too?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me today? It's gotta be the mercury.
He signed it
I
anyway.
heard
I'll sign it.
about it's affecting me. You can't make many major decisions now until January 25th. Okay, so what it says is, first of all, April 28th, the deadline. And when I say deadline, I mean the deadline. After the 28th, which I didn't write, yeah. After the 28th, we do not want to see another time card at the language lab. And that will be just that Thursday before the final exam week. So we're done, and we have to wrap everything up, and we have so many other things to do. So by that date, I don't know, maybe, your instructor is willing to work with you, I don't know, but we need to see those hours
I
by
want you to
then.
have your 16 hours by then, so that we're not giving them extra work, because they've got all those time cards to finish tallying
You know,
and
Spanish kids.
And then
type
the
up all their
last
reports
week,
and
the last
everything.
week at the language lab, before your finals, you can come to the lab and you can study. You can use our facility, our resources and everything, but we don't care about your time at that
Yeah,
point.
they're not counting hours the week
okay?
of finals.
Set
That's
an
the
appointment
point.
with a tutor, get help, prepare, do whatever you need to do, but there's no time tracking, okay, that needs to be in. So that's kind of at the top there, that's what it says, no exceptions. And then A, you need to sign in, of course you wanna sign in, especially you wanna ask for your time card. In order to receive a passing grade, you need to have those 16 hours, your instructor said that too, you need to get them, get started on it already, get in as much as possible. I think that's a good idea when you are a beginner, you know, in the beginning of a language, work as much as possible. While working, see at the lab, only do language learning. You're not gonna come there and do your math homework and, you know, stuff like that. Work on only the Japanese language. And then not to use the equipment, we have computers, we have 11 computers, just use them for school use, okay, not for anything personal. Now, E, when we come to E, that sometimes, you know, we have a little bit of tricky situations, not so much, but I don't know, this semester it already started. So,
What's
you
E?
have to be respectful of others. So, you know, some
Yeah.
people have this voice that just projects, you know, and it's like everyone has to listen to it. And they don't mean to be, you know, disruptive in any way, but everyone hears every word. And it could be related to the language, but it just gets a little bit annoying, right? It's a small room, and we have different languages. So if this happens while you're there, you need to come to us. You come to this desk, you come to me, you come to the student assistant, you tell, hey, you know, that guy is just too loud. Can I go somewhere else? Or, you know, we'll deal with the problem. Just don't storm out of there and, you know, say, oh, language lab, they talk too much. Because we are not a library. We are a language learning center. And we do want you to be able to produce the language. We don't want you to just read, okay, and understand. We want you to also speak and work together. So sometimes that becomes a problem. So just remember, be considerate. Be considerate of one another. If you have a problem, let us know. You know, I'm always willing to let you go somewhere else. You know, go and use the library. Go somewhere else, and you know, as long as we know that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then we have falsely recording the time, no cheating with time, of course. G, language lab would no longer supply headphones. That doesn't really apply to you, I think. It's more for those that have an online component. They have to work.
Yeah, well, you
Online.
can certainly bring your MP3 player and earbuds if you want to work on the listening CDs that come with your text and workbook. If you want to do that part of your homework there, you can. If you'd rather do that part of your homework some other time and work on reading and writing practice or speaking practice with your classmates, that's fine too. You know, whatever aspect of the homework for this class you want to work on in the lab is fine by me.
Mm-hmm. Good,
No.
yeah. Okay. And then what we talked about already, it's your responsibility to keep a record of your own time to advise us if you are going to be working somewhere else. Let us know. Don't let us know after the deadline. Let us know way before. And then the only thing that we require, if you want to use our resources, we have so much material that our students have made. We have so much extra resources for you. So if you need to use that, the only thing I need or we need is your student ID card. It's a collateral. So you do want to get one if you don't have it. We don't take driver's licenses. So student ID card. So fill initial, you're in agreement, fill out the bottom, your name so we can read it. And the class is Japanese 1, it's only one, right? Japanese
Yeah, I only
one.
know one
Yeah.
section this semester, so.
Okay. And then I'll take all that, so you can just.
Yeah, you can pass all those in when you're done.
So
And
remember,
we
building
are out of
one.
time for tonight, so Go ahead and continue practicing reading your hiragana and writing your hiragana, and
You want the time cards
make
too,
those
yeah.
flashcards and work on
Time cards as well.
lesson
Yeah,
one
oh yeah, everything
and
goes
readings
there.
content.
Remember, that doesn't, none of that.
Card all that.
What's-
We have to keep track of everything, put everything away in the binder.
Yeah, class information, you can just put Japanese 1 since this is the only Japanese 1 class this semester.
A lot of those, and
Where
then
did you learn Japanese?
I actually started when I was in high school in Atlanta, Georgia.
Neighbors to the north.
Yeah,
Honestly.
and